Update Reddit. What's the fastest you've seen someone fired from a job? There was a Reddit post a while ago about some dude who just got a job at Google. He did an AMA talking about what his position would entail. He ended up getting canned before he officially started because he didn't grasp the finer points of an NDA. Preemptive firing by talking about your non-disclosure internet job on the internet. Next up, let's share the Coke recipe at the Pepsi plant. I worked as a delivery driver for Pizza Hut in college. Basically, anyone who applied and had a driver's license would get hired. So this kid, we'll call him Steve, came in on his first day of work. And this was a transcript of his entire period of employment at Pizza Hut. Steve: so where is the car I am going to use? Manager: you use your own car. Steve: but I don't have a car. Manager: well then you can't be a delivery driver. New guy tried to buy some meth from the owner within 2 hours of being hired. He asked another employee and he told him the owner was dealing on the side for extra cash. He started at 8 AM and was fired by 10. Awesome move by the other employee. Less than 3 minutes. Worked for a tree service for a few years, so I saw a lot of people come and go that couldn't handle it. New guys were always showing up, but this 18-year-old never had a job before. Been told he is special all his life and he felt respect was given, not earned. This kid never made it to the trucks. We parked our work trucks close to the areas we worked and various parking lots, so our personal cars were usually parked close to ensure a spot for the work truck that afternoon. New kid parks right in the middle trying to show he is important. Before he got out, the boss set his coffee cup on the kid's back bumper and starts the morning safety meeting. Kid walks around his truck and screams "WHO the frick put their dang cup on MYYYY truck" and knocks it to the ground. The end. Had a girl come in for training her first day at the bakery I worked at. Halfway through the shift she takes my co-worker's cell phone, flip phone, out of her bag, looks her in the eye and says "this is nice," and then snapped it clean in half. My boss was in such shock that he didn't even yell, just told her to get out and not come back. Chick wanted to know if she was getting paid too. Half an hour. Working in Arby's. New girl shows up. They run her through how to work the cash register on a few dummy orders. She takes a real order or two and then it gets slow. She asks to duck out for a minute to smoke and never came back. Register ended up being $100 short that day. 6 minutes. Had a friend who worked as a telemarketer and totally blacked out and started yelling at people over the phone. He still lists this job on his resume, like a boss. Telemarketer 9 AM 9:06 AM. Must look good on the CV. I worked at a pretty big company. I was at work early one morning, around 7:30, trying to get a head start, and I see the new guy, an entry level, super nice dude. He had just started a week or two prior, and he was also in the office early, trying to make a good impression. Anyway, he thought it would be a good idea to start up a fantasy football league in the office. So he sends out an email about fantasy football to everyone. The company is a huge, multinational corporation. He sent the email to every single employee, manager, director, VP, COO, etc. But more than that, he sent it to every single distribution list. So people were getting double, triple, quadruple emails. He effectively shut down the entire email system with a failed attempt to increase office morale. Big boss comes in at 8, closes the door to his office, and sits at the desk. A minute later, I hear what the F he calls in the noob to his office. By 8:30, the new guy's walking out the door escorted by security. True story. About 4 hours. In high school, I worked at an ice cream shop. My boss hired a new girl, and said she was going to be working her first shift with me. She came in wearing a black jacket and black pants, which wasn't really the dress code, but whatever. For 4 hours, she would not come out of the corner. I tried to coax her out many times but wouldn't budge. I think they had some other issues, but she started crying, so I gave up and left her alone. My boss awkwardly told her it wasn't going to work out after that. IDK if this girl was actually fired or if the manager just forget about her, but she applied for a job at a movie theater and got it. She was then never put on the schedule or called to work. She didn't work a single hour. She even tried calling and got no response. My roommate got a job at a burrito place, left for his first day and I wished him good luck. I came home later and asked him how it went. He said he got fired. I laughed at him thinking it was a joke. Nope. Apparently he got which day was his first day wrong. He was a whole 2 days late. And this is why I would check the schedule multiple times a day, as well as take photos of it. I was always terrified I'd get the days wrong. I worked for a major 3-letter computer company. A new service tech was hired. Once he logged in, he pulled out a portable hard drive from his backpack, connected it to his machine, and started to copy everything he had access to. Within 3 hours security was escorting him out the door. Waitress's first job was to take the brand new glasses out of the boxes, put them through the washer, and put them away. She got them all in racks about 10 high on a set of wheels, tried to push them, and they all fell over. The manager said he felt bad, but had to fire her. On a construction site high-rise, you have to be tied off 100% if you walk within 10 feet of the leading edge of the building. Zero tolerance. This kid's first day ducks under the rope and walks about a foot away from a 60-foot drop. I yelled at him and pointed at the rope. He says oh and ducks back under. He was off site 45 minutes later. Total time about 3 hours. During the first week of Air Force basic training, a guy who couldn't have been older than 18 got kicked out of the military altogether because of the results of the drug test he took before being shipped out. Some guys in uniform came to our barracks, made him grab his few belongings, and they took him off. He looked devastated and had tears streaming down his face. Moral of the story: get clean before signing up. Saw a woman come in for a receptionist job on her first day, about 45 minutes late. We said, apparently, we'd work with her on her schedule because she had a kid, but 45 minutes late on your first day with no call? She was escorted out almost immediately. And sure about this, there are many reasons I would be 1+ hour late with no calls. For example, the subway broke down and I got trapped in a train in the tunnels with no cell phone signal. I got fired an hour into training to be a busboy at a Boulder Creek steakhouse. I had already bought the uniform and was learning how to properly roll up the silverware and the napkins when the manager came by to let me know that oops. Turns out we're not allowed to hire 15-year-olds. Sorry, bye. Those bastards still owe me $5.25. I hired a girl to work customer service at the front desk of our company. Her job consisted of greeting customers and working the cash register intermittently. She showed up for her first day of work hungover, or on some kind of downers, and about 30 minutes into training she had to leave because she wasn't feeling well. I gave her the benefit of the doubt. Later that day after I finished my shift, I went out with my wife to go see a movie. I saw her there, obviously feeling fine. Apparently she just didn't feel like working. She was too embarrassed to come back to work the next day, so technically I didn't have to fire her. She worked for a total of 30 minutes. I think her paycheck came out to like $3.80. I went to bat for a friend's friend who needed a job. Begged my boss to hire him. She let me do the interview. I threw him the softest softball questions ever. She hired him on my recommendation. Walked him through his W-4 and all that crap. Filed it with corporate. I asked when he could start. He says Monday. Monday comes and no John. He just never showed up to his first day. I ate a lot of crap from my boss over that one. About an hour into training. I work with infants at a daycare and I had a new hire that I was training. One of my 4-month-olds had been crying all day and I could tell my trainee was getting fed up with it even though she'd only been in my room for like half an hour around the infant. I was busy changing diapers and making different bottles and didn't notice that I could no longer hear that baby screaming. I finally realized it when I grabbed his bottle out of the bottle warmer and couldn't find him. I started freaking out and asked the trainee where he was. Turns out, she had just opened the back door, put the baby on the ground outside, and left him out there to get rid of the crying. She begged me not to tell, but you don't just put a baby outside. Right then, one of my directors came by to see how everything was going and I told her what happened. The trainee was fired before she had even officially started working. You have been visited by the chunk of good luck. Good fortune and lucks will come to you, but only if you comment "Oh Lord, he coming."